Hello everyone, I'm Rima Sukmawati with my colleagues from Faculty Psychology Universitas Gadjah Mada. Here we will make a presentation titled A Photovoice Study of Emotional Dynamics in Indonesian Children with Dyslexia. This presentation will be delivered by me, our great lecturer, Dr. Elga, Andriana, also my colleagues, Pahru, Rozi, Agnes, Angelina, Argya, Zahra, and Nadia, Puti. Dyslexia is known as a specific learning disability in children characterized by deficit in the ability to understand reading and read fluently also accurately. Children are the most commonly affected by dyslexia, with the majority of clinical diagnoses occurring between the ages of 4 and 6. In Indonesia itself, the prevalence of children with dyslexia was 15.8% in 2019. This compares with the global prevalence of 15 to 20% in 2016. All children, including children with dyslexia, have the right to get proper facilities. Unfortunately, not all children with dyslexia have the same opportunity, especially those from low socioeconomic backgrounds or SES. Low SES may aggravate dyslexia condition in children because of the lack of resource, exposure, and attention from environment. Those limitations make them having difficulties in academic aspects, which resulting many research nowadays on dyslexia only focus on cognitive-based treatment and technical matters. However, there is an emotional aspect that we often overlook. Based on the literature review that we have done so far, the emotional aspect of children with dyslexia is thoroughly studied. In Indonesia especially, only 4 out of 250 scientific articles focus on the emotional aspect of children with dyslexia. In addition, globally, research on children with dyslexia who have low SES background hasn't been widely studied. Understanding and dealing with the emotional problems of children with dyslexia is a challenge for families with low SES. Without proper treatment and attention, emotion in children with dyslexia can affect all aspects of the development and put negative pressures on the child's life. A study conducted by AISA 2010 stated dyslexia affects children's emotional aspects, such as anxiety, stress, anger, and self-esteem negatively. The limited research related to emotion on children with dyslexia drives us to conduct this research with the aims to analyze the emotional dynamics, the role of external stimuli, and family attention to children with dyslexia from low SES.
Elegant and Watson, 1985, based on the basic classification of emotion, divide emotion into, namely positive affect and negative affect. Watson et al. 1999 state that high positive affect is characterized by feelings of enthusiasm, joy, passion, and full of enthusiasm. Meanwhile, a high level of negative affect is characterized by feelings of pressure, fear, aggression, anxiety, and cynicism. Coupens and Verdun 2017 argue that emotional dynamics include the process and consequence of emotional fluctuation and are the elements that compose those emotions. Coupens and Verdun 2017 explain the components of emotional dynamics themselves consisting of duration, intensity, profile shape, emotional variability, emotional differentiation, emotional inertia, and emotional augmentation and blunting. Duration in emotional dynamics means the time span of the start and end of the emotional episode. Then, intensity profile shape is a form of fluctuation in emotional intensity during emotional episode. Then, emotional variability means the range or amplitude of emotional fluctuation. Furthermore, emotional differentiation is defined as the ability to recognize and distinguish the experience of the emotional felt. Emotional inertia has the meaning in which an emotion is carried from one state for another. Meanwhile, the emotional augmentation has a meaning in which an emotion is able to predict the emergence of other emotion. Yet emotional blunting occurs when an emotional predicts the disappearance of other emotion.
This research is a qualitative study with a case study approach using photovoice method. The cases in this study were children with dyslexia from low SES families. We started this research by recruiting participants, by distributing posters on social media, and collaborating with Disability Service Unit in Yogyakarta. Prior to recruitment and data collection, the authors obtained approval from the Human Research Ethics Committee of the author's institution. Parents give their informed consent, and all children give their assent. children's assent forms were provided in a child-friendly format with the addition of a verbal explanation emphasizing that participation in this research was voluntary. Primary data were collected from children using photovoice techniques and interviews, while secondary data were taken by interviewing teachers and parents. Photovoice was conducted by asking children to take photos of anything that was related to learning activities that they think generate negative or positive emotions. This technique helped children recall the diverse emotions that they have experienced. The next step was interviews with children. They were asked to talk about their photos using the following showed questions. What do you see here? What's really happening here? How does this relate to your life? Why the situation exists? And what can we do about it? The participants of this study included 6 children who had been diagnosed with dyslexia, aged 5 to 15 years old, and came from families with low SES backgrounds, as measured by Nielsen's SES categorization and Klugel subjective class identification. The research was conducted in Yogyakarta area for 4 months, and data were analyzed using thematic analysis techniques through inductive and deductive approaches by using qualitative data processing software and Vivo.
This study's findings highlight 3 key ideas: emotional dynamic, external stimuli, and family attention under low SES conditions. The first is about the emotional dynamic in children with dyslexia. The findings of the study reveal 5 main findings. First, the finding of the study suggests that children with dyslexia exhibit intense emotional behavior. Children's internal conditions cause their emotional intensity, especially the negative ones, to be higher compared to other children. According to the Sturt et al. 2021, this high level of emotion is caused by the brain salience network being more connected in children with dyslexia. The system in this area of the brain contributes in the development of emotions and self-awareness. Externalizing behaviors such as anger, verbal aggressions, and rejections of the social environment indicate a high level of emotional intensity. Second, the results show that the emotion in children with dyslexia were dominated by negative emotions. However, the clinical conditions and comorbidities that children have also have an impact on the predominance of these negative emotions. The negative emotional episodes might range in duration from a few minutes to several days in duration. The next finding is that participants' emotional state change from one condition to another, and that this change is influenced by how others treat them, such as when parents or teacher intervenes. Giving an intervention, for example, has the ability to change the intensity of an emotional episode. Children with dyslexia are more sensitive to failure and rejections because they believe they are less capable than other kids. Children that experience emotional augmentations experience such emotional episodes quickly, which predict the emergence of increased emotions of worthlessness when they are unable to perform a task. On the other side, in emotional blunting, said emotion inhibit the emergence of positive emotions such as being comfortable and happy while learning. Being aware of the difficulties he faces in some subjects at schools increases his perception that he is less capable than other kids, which consequently decreases his self-esteem. The finding of this research show that almost all participants were able to recognize and describe their emotional states. This is consistent with the finding of Cockcroft and Hartgill 2004 study, which demonstrate that children with dyslexia are better able than other kids to analyze problems and generate creative problem solutions. Despite having problems with reading and comprehensions, the finding indicated that children with dyslexia had higher cognitive capacities in the areas of creativity and ideas. Children are more creative and have higher level of cognitive ability than their classmates when participating in learning activities.
The second theme found was external stimuli that affect the emotional dynamics of children with dyslexia, which is divided into 3 types or subthemes. First, the object stimuli, namely everything in the environment that is tangible and visible. Object stimuli that generate positive emotion include favorite facilities, pictures, money in the natural environment, and various creative learning media. However, unlike other stimuli, the learning motivation generated by the monetary stimulus is extrinsic and the effect does not last long. One example could be seen in the figure 1. On the other hand, object stimuli that elicit negative emotion include text with lots of writing and complex sentences, books with monotonous cover colors, and school assignments. Joel et al. In 2018 found that executive function in the brains of children with dyslexia has a deficit in inhibition ability, which has a role in focusing attention, and updating ability, which has a role in retaining information in working memory. This causes them to have difficulty retaining the information obtained, including those being delivered through writing. Providing creative learning media and conducting outdoor learning activities could help them maintain attention on learning activities. The next subtheme of external stimuli is conceptual stimuli, namely designs, ideas, knowledge, and processes everything that is abstract and invisible. Conceptual stimuli that elicit positive emotions include activities related to motor function, favorite subjects, flexible school rules, less demanding task perfection, and non-monotonous learning methods. Conceptual stimuli that elicit negative emotions include written exams, reading tests in the front of the class, and hated subjects that are generally related to language, containing lots of text and numeric activities. The example could be seen in the figure 2. The last subtheme of external stimuli is social stimuli, namely interactions, both real or imagined, which are generally treated by the presence of others. Social stimuli that generate positive emotions include a physical attachment with parents, teaching assistant, and the use of learning motivation by teachers or parents. The social stimuli that elicit negative emotion include self-comparison with friends who have normal reading and writing speed, bullying, peer rejection, teaching behavior that yelling over children, and noisy classroom atmosphere. In this research, bullying and peer rejection can be caused by 2 things. The first one, children with dyslexia generally have normal to above average intelligence, so there is a gap in the conversation topic between what children with dyslexia are interested in and their peers. The second one, children with dyslexia also have difficulty in understanding spoken language and social language. This makes it difficult for them to express their emotions in behavior that are considered reasonable and polite according to the prevailing standards. Over the 3 types of stimuli above, positive emotions that arise could emerge in the form of feeling comfortable and motivated to learn. Meanwhile, the negative ones could be feeling of left behind, frustrated, angry, sad, anxious, afraid, and worthless. Responsive to negative emotions could be shown through uncontrolled behavior while studying, for example, looking for reasons not to study, restlessness, yelling, crying, and hating. The last theme found in this research is the attention given to the emotional aspects of children with dyslexia by their families. That is divided into 2 subthemes. The first one is attention in the form of education. Parents' decision to find a school with a supportive environment consists of various reasons, ranging from the competence of teachers, the curriculum used, to unpleasant experiences at previous schools, such as bullying. However, sometimes the decision gets a negative reaction from people around who think that the lifestyle is not commensurate with the economic condition of the household. The second subtheme is therapy and medication. Parents seek therapeutic support and medication to address the emotional and focus problems experienced by their children, which is proven to have positive impact on their children. Unfortunately, due to economic limitations, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, the process of providing therapy and medication was hampered and even temporarily suspended.
Aware of how important it is to pay attention to their children's emotional growth, not all attention can be provided in the best way. Limited funding makes it difficult to pay attention to therapy and medications. From this study, the implication is that children are allowed to tell parents about their feelings, what helps them in learning and doesn't in learning. Practitioners need to listen to children's voices and address them in a learning plan, which attended to social and emotional learning, then only centering only on the cognitive aspects. We also conduct virtual exhibitions that target educational institutions and communities. You can access these virtual exhibitions through barcode below. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the attention, and that is what we can share with you about the result of our study and a photovoice study of emotional dynamics in Indonesian children with dyslexia. We hope this research could leverage the quality of life of children with dyslexia, also communities and educational institutions. Thank you.